Hey, Marc, it's so good to finally meet you. You and I have spoke many times on the phone, and it's a pleasure to have you on the best multifamily podcast ever. One of the things the reason why you're here is you are the founder of Enodo, Enodo, and it's enodoinc.com. For those of you at home who are looking to dial in, let me see. The thing about Enodo is it is a phenomenal tool for being a multifamily investor. And it's the different ways that you can use your program that really are phenomenal. Now, it's used to analyze the value of a property. It's used to analyze the market that the property is in. But listen, I just want to state for the record, and I get this question all the time especially from my students. We use a program from Doug Rutherford. He's a CPA out of Georgia, called rental software, or the cash flow analyzer. And this is a software that we use to analyze. We put in the rents, we put in everything, and it spits out a static number that says, okay, this is what the price should be for this particular property. It's nothing more than formulas going into Excel databases, and based upon the valuation of property, it comes out with a number on the other end. It puts together a nice package if you wanted to use it as a initial offering memorandum for your clients. But what it doesn't do is the dynamic analysis that Enodo does. Enodo is a tool that you can use while you're initially looking at the market the property is in, all the way through to which direction this market is headed, and this particular property in that market. How am I doing, Marc?
Hey, that's a pretty good description of it. I mean, what we're trying to help people do is, the old adage, find the worst house on the best block in multifamily, right? So the property that has, it's in a great market, it should be better than it is. It's got some deferred maintenance issues. It's got, great locational attributes, but really if you put some TLC into it, you could do a lot better. We'll tell you where the rents should be and where the expenses could be if operated efficiently, and help you actually capitalize on that and generate your business plan for the asset, from acquisition through renovation and releasing the units.
And one of the things that you say what the rents are doing, you'll even show us historically, over the last 18 months what the rents have done, which is so powerful, so incredibly powerful. Because think about it, when you go out there and you're doing like a survey among your competitors, just to determine exactly what's going on with the market and my rents in line, do I have a value play with the rents? You might find out that you have a value play with the rents because your rents are so low, but what you also might find out is that the historical trend over the last 18 months in that market for these rents has been a downward spiral. And then you ask the question, do I really want to be in this market? And that's the type of information that Enodo even provides for you, which is so cool. So, hey, you want to give us a little demonstration? Because I got to tell you, folks, and this is true. Listen. Enodo is a new program. It's a new. Marc is. I'm sure he and his coders are working. All the time, making changes to the program and updating it, what have you. Every time I talk to Marc, there's something new with the program that I haven't even seen before. So let me just. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pass the ball to Marc. Marc, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you the host. And then you're going to control the screen. So why don't you have at it, and then keep in mind too, Marc, is that this video. We shoot two different ways on this podcast. So we provide the ability to view us, on our YouTube channel, but at the same time, some people just are watching this or listening to this on their podcast. So make sure you are as descriptive as possible in what's going on. Yep. And I will do my best to make sure that you do that.
Absolutely. Okay, so are you able to see my screen now? Is it
yes.
working?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll start off with some of the free tools available. I think these are really good for streamlining workflows and doing some things that, we've all had to do. I've done in past roles as the analyst. I know all of our customers have had to do this at some point, uploading rent rolls in T12 and parsing the rent rolls to get something usable when they could be in all sorts of crazy formats, and mapping those T12s to a chart of accounts that you could compare consistently across properties, benchmarks, or operating expenses.
Okay, so
very tedious.
Let me,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is Marc has put together a whole bunch of free tools that you can use and really helps you get used to how Enodo works. But these are, he's got a rent roll analyzer, an interactive rent survey, market analysis, operating statement parser, and a property analysis. Okay, so and this is one of the coolest things, and I don't know if this is, I'm dating myself or something, but what you can actually do with Enodo is if the broker gives you the rent roll in a PDF format, when I got it in a PDF format, all I pictured is okay, how am I going to transfer this into an Excel format or some type of a spreadsheet that I can manipulate the information. Marc's tools will take a PDF, you just click and drag the PDF onto the screen, and it automatically parses it out for you. Which is pretty darn cool. I've never seen that done before. And for some reason, Marc, I think you're going to liken me to George H.W. Bush going through the supermarket chain, never having seen the scanner before. But okay, fine. Have at it, pal. Have at it.
All right. Yeah, so here I've got a rent roll from a deal that one of our clients analyzed recently. And you can see here, it's a pretty large rent roll. It's 28 pages. And you're going to use like an online converter PDF to Excel. You're going to get mixed results. It's probably going to, mess up some of these lines. You'll get like some numbers melded together with the resident names. You'll get like duplicate line items or same cell. You'll get like two rows in the same cell in Excel. And there's going to be a lot of time involved in just getting it into a usable format to really analyze. With Enodo, what you can do, I'll select that rent roll. What it will do is it will go through every single line. It will find templates that it has looked at before. It's using machine learning for this. So we've developed a series of algorithms. It'll look at it, and will understand what's in the rent roll, break it down into floor plans, and here you see nothing can give you the beds and baths in the floor plan. I mean, some of this stuff you just have to know. I happen to know for this property, these are 1 bed, 1 bath, and these are 2 bed, 1 bath. But we're limiting the manual entry, and it works just like Excel. You can see I didn't use the mouse at all. I just use the arrows and Control C and Control V, just like you guys always do when you're using Excel. Go through, look what it's doing here. It pulls out occupancy codes and correctly categorizes them based on the status. So even if they name it something, esoteric, like vacancy unit or something like that, because there's all sorts of naming conventions, our AI will pull it out and identify that as vacant. We go through. It will actually categorize for you all the different charge codes. It will say rent, that's contractual rent. Cable, that's cable/internet. This is going, we're trying to lean on Fannie, Freddie categorizations as much as possible, but we've trained on our user data to basically, if you look at all these month to month, MTM premium, pet fees, picked up as pet fees, washer dryer, categorized as other, pet fee, again, picked up. All this is completely automatic. So you can see all these different charge codes. If you were trying to compare apples to apples across rent rolls, this can be really difficult. This can be time consuming because you're going to have to make judgment calls about all these. We leverage the collective experience of the market to kind of do that for you. We allow you to go on to the next step where you designate anything that's going to be affordable or renovated. And you can do this in one step by floor plan here. And so say that your 1A units are affordable, and maybe your 2As are as well, and then you just renovated the 1B and 2C units. I don't know, because I don't know this deal, it's just the customer's rent roll,
right.
But those are the the attributes of these units. So I saved this, and what it's going to do, this is analysis that you guys, if you're analyzing a rent roll, you'd probably do in Excel, and this could take a decent amount of time to actually process this. Do it all automatically.
Okay, let me just for the people listening at home, what Marc just did is he just took a standard rent roll. It looked like it came off of a Yardi report. He just clicked and dragged it, or just had the system automatically dump it into the Enodo system. As you know, when you're looking at any rent roll, there are categories on there that don't make sense, or some of them you can't quite figure out. So the system gave Marc the opportunity to match up those unknown categories with known categories. And then when it was all said and done, he had a perfectly matched up rent roll into the system, and he hits enter. And from that, he has just produced a phenomenal report showing the in-place rents, the new leases by month, the lease expiration schedule. I mean, all in graphic form that you need to know this. You want to see how this multifamily property is running as a business. When you look at the lease expiration dates, that's huge. You have to know from a business standpoint, boy, it looks like when I get in there, I'm going to have to spread some of these leases out over a more standard period of time. I mean, but it's amazing, absolutely amazing what this is doing. And it just gives you, this is the type of information that when you go to buy this property, you're going to want to show this to your investors so that they can see what type of work you've done on this. It's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, well, I appreciate it. We work with a lot of guys out of your group, Charlie, and we really like the feedback we've gotten from them.
Yeah.
Because tools only got better over time.
Exactly. And I told my students, I said, because they said, hey, Enodo doesn't do this. I said, well, send Marc an email. Let him know, and he'll fix it.
Yeah, that's how we like to work. We're very collaborative with our customers.
Yeah.
We never say, oh, that'll never be in the product. We're like, okay, wait, you and a couple others have requested that. That makes a lot of sense. You guys are market, industry professionals. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so this grew out of a lot of those conversations. Like, I need to be able to analyze, over the last 90, 60, 30 days, how are my rents performing by floor plan? And what does that look like over the last 2 leases, the last 5, the last 10 leases? You can really analyze in granular detail what's going on with the units in the property. And we've added, actually recently,
can you just, let me ask you about up in that top bar. You've got a number in there for the average market rent of $775, but then you've got next to it the average in-place rent of $707. So, I mean, instantly you can look at that and think, wow, there's a value play there. It's almost 10%. So where are you coming up? Where are you coming up with the market rents?
So in this case, we're actually pulling the market rents from the rent roll. Now, when we go into the Enodo platform, the full platform, you can actually see we do predict market rent, and that's where you can truly see, the property owner may not be operating 100% efficiently, and this market rent may be at the top of what they've been able to accomplish with the property. But Enodo will tell you in our Enodo rent prediction what, based on everything else that's going on in the market and similar properties with similar attributes, you actually may be able to get fits for your market rent. So it may be slightly higher, it may be slightly lower than this. Maybe they're overstating what the market rent is in the rent roll. You can go based on what they say, but you really need a third-party objective analysis, and that's what Enodo's proper platform. These are the free tools, but the platform itself with the Enodo Rent Trust provide that objective third-party assessment of, you really can achieve this if you manage it efficiently. And it is a good buy based on that delta between the in-place and what's truly achievable.
I'll tell you, Marc, when I was just teaching a lesson the other day to my students, and I said, when you bring me a deal, you've got to be able to answer 2 questions. First question is, what's your exit strategy? And the second question is, how are you going to get this deal financed? When you ask the question, what's your exit strategy, that's another way of saying, why am I buying this property? You know, and when you look at the information through a static viewer like the cash flow analyzer, it doesn't answer the question, why am I buying this property? When you look at the dynamic, I keep using the word dynamic analysis here, but this shows you we've got some opportunity here in this property. We can create a real business plan for this property based upon this information, and this is what we're planning to do. You'll be light years ahead of other people and being able to pitch your investors on why they need to put their money in this deal. So this is I'm a huge fan, Marc. Obviously, you can tell I'm like a fanboy. I'm like, you know, Barstool Sports here, you know, with this. So, all right. So keep going. Show me some more.
Sure. So the other free tool that is pretty widely used is our operating statement parser. Now, when you guys, Charlie, you mentioned applying for a loan. Okay, it's going to be a huge component of it, and who is ultimately going to acquire that loan is Fannie and Freddie, right? They're going to be the support. So you got to underwrite to their standards when you're putting together a package. And what the lender does, what your lender does when you go to somebody and they're trying to take your underwriting for a potential property and put a loan package together, put into their sizer, they actually map all the line items with the T12 that you're looking at and the way you put it in your pro forma. They're going to map that to the way Fannie and Freddie will look at that information and try to put it in their chart of accounts and is organized the way as possible. That is a very time-consuming task for your lender. So if you care at all about your lender and want them to work efficiently and get things done quickly, you actually can have a decent competitive advantage if you use this tool. So I'll show you the Sierra Ridge project. I've got the T12 here. I load this into it. What it actually does is it picks up every single line item that occurs in the T12. And you can see these have charge codes that are actually melded in there.
Right.
So there's not an easy way, unless you're using their same accounting system, to really map anything.
Okay, let me just stop right here, Marc, and let me just kind of explain. So what you did is you took a T12 that was in an Excel format already.
It could be PDF or Excel.
Oh, it could have. Okay. And you just once again you converted it and dumped it into. Right now, this is all been re-input into the Enodo system.
Right.
Okay. All right. So now we're looking at month by month by month, and it totals it up on the other side. Let me ask you something, Marc. Are you doing the monthly calculations so that they equal a total, or are you capturing it from their data?
Both. So right here we're summing it. If we do see that it's captured from their data and it's wrong, we'll flag that, and it will either fail or we'll detect it as just a rounding error, and it's not that big of a deal to be like $1 off.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, you don't want, a lot of times in the Excel files there are errors with their total column, and we find that it's better to actually sum them up ourselves. But if there's a huge delta there, we'll flag it and say something went wrong, we couldn't parse this.
You know, I'll tell you, when I see the information come over from the seller or the broker, and it's in a PDF format, I'm like, okay, fine. But when I see it come over in Excel, right away I think to myself, and especially when there are no formulas, when they converted themselves from Yardi into an Excel, it doesn't bring over the formulas. So I never trust those. Never trust those.
Right.
So.
Well. So yeah, we're doing the calculations on the front end, and I'll show you how this actually works here. Let me go to the next step, and it will ask you. Now, a lot of the times it picks this up. This template doesn't have it clearly outlined here, but I can see that advertising looks like the first expense line item. So I'll scroll down. It will have the line item's number. You select advertising as the first line of expenses, and then the NOI. It will actually be, in this case, the last item. Now, I move on from here, and then I get to this categorization step. So this is where I mentioned getting an apples-to-apples comparison across different operating statements to benchmark your expenses. You can't compare just one T12 to the other directly because the line items are all different. The way people account for them is very different. What we built is a way to actually map these raw line items to different charts of accounts, Fannie's way of underwriting, Freddie's way, Presti, NAA, and of course, Enodo's way. And I'll show you how that actually looks. If I select Fannie, it's actually going to populate the way Fannie would categorize these line items through the entire T12. So you know exactly how Fannie would look at these line items and what they would say is allowable income versus unallowable income. And you're going to know where to push and where not to push when you're trying to get the best representation of your property. So this will catch stuff that's below the line items that are maybe put above the line that really shouldn't be, that Fannie would look at as below the line. You could potentially enhance performance that way. When you get a loan, you want to put stuff that really should be below the line. You want to put it below the line so that you get the maximum NOI. This template can help you do that. And if you're debating where to put one of these line items, well, we actually tell you the percent probability that based on historical categorizations of Fannie and Freddie deals, that it will land in any one of these buckets. Now, we only fill it in by default if it's above 70% sure, but here you can see admin fee income would typically be put in other income. There's a 66% chance. So I categorize vending machines. You can see it picked it up as laundry and vending. A lot of people put it as other income, but the majority is typically right in this. And so if you're having any difficulty or you have any debate about where you should put these line items, this can help inform you as the best way to present it to a lender, the way that it's going to be most palatable for them. And so, I won't go through the whole
thing. Oh, can you
thing
just
here,
go back, because there's something in there that I want you to go back to the admin fee, because I like how you've got on there other income, allowable other income. You've got income fee as allowable other income. Let me just tell you something, Marc. And I'm not. This is what Fannie Mae is saying, but when I teach my students, admin fee is never allowable income. I mean, we call that bad income, and I'd tell them we don't count it. Oh boy, yeah, I can tell you horror stories about how current owners manipulate that other admin fee income. It's bad income. So yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, if it's something where it's like too large of expense, the lenders will move it and say it's unallowable or allow a portion of it.
Yeah.
This will just help you see where they would typically move that line item from the lender's perspective, looking at just the raw data. I mean, these things can fall into different categories, and if you don't agree with these, you can put it wherever you want to put it. All the other options are here. This is just looking at other people's historical categorizations of these items and trying to come up with the best way to dump it into a particular bucket.
Now, for those that don't have the access to a video, let me just tell you, this is categorizing everything absolutely perfectly. It's even showing the what I call income reducers, like vacancy, loss to lease, all those types of things are showing up in the red. So when you're done, this is really a nice package here, nice information that, man, you will look like you are a pro when you use this type of information. Yeah, this is great stuff. Amazing.
Well, and you guys can see what we've tried to do with this, because all of our users, I mean, you guys spend a lot of time in Excel. We've tried to make it like Excel. So you can Control-C, Control-V to copy things over. You can right-click, undo, redo. There's always, functionality that's similar as it possibly can be to how you do it in Excel. And then when you're done, you save the deal, and you've got this nice analysis that will show you net rentable income over time, vacancy loss, bad debt, concessions. So you're seeing the different line items here, and you're actually able to kind of see month over month, what's the breakdown of those different items, and kind of see the historical performance of the property. And then over on the right, you've got each of the different, the T3, 6, 9, and 12, and you can see how the trend is performing for this property as well. And then, of course, you can export this to Excel. Now, what we do with lenders is they often like to import this into their loan sizer directly. So we're working on integrations where, our lenders can just import this data and then call it a day. They're done.
And for those of you not watching this on the screen, this is the information that's showing up on here is absolutely powerful stuff for how you can evaluate a property. This is amazing. You look at to see exactly how this property is being managed and owned and operated, and showing it automatically calculates out for your T12, T9, T6, and T3, so you can see what the trends are over the last 3 months or 12 months. And you look at this property, looking at the T3 versus the T12, and this guy was setting this property up to be sold because he was increasing his gross potential rent as much as he possibly could. It was a huge increase.
Right.
It's unbelievable, and it tells you right here, and it just shows you. Marc, great job, loving this stuff. Give me more, Marc. Give me more.
All right, I can do that. So I'll show you quickly here the rent survey tool. So we're kind of in a transition here right now where, we've got the platform that has existed for a while, and now we've created these kind of free tools. And what we're trying to do is meld the two together. These are a great funnel for getting people to sign up for the full platform. But some of the features now in the free tools are actually on par or better than the features in the paid tools. So we've got a weird dilemma where we kind of got to gate it differently. But I'll show you this. This is still free for today. You can come in here and analyze a deal. So I'll start with 5050 North Sheridan. Now we will be pay gating this, so this will not be the rent roll and the op statement will remain free. The rent survey tool will be behind a paywall pretty soon here. So talk about the historical trends. We actually have the historical rent trends.
Okay, let me just stop you right here, Marc. I just want to tell people what you're looking at and how I actually show this. Keep that map up there, Marc, because when I'm teaching people about the fact that you can't just rely on brokers to build your business, you got to go directly to the owners. What I typically do is I would show this map of whatever section this is, Chicago. I would show the LoopNet map of how many properties are available for sale right now in Chicago in that area. And then I go over to my Enodo subscription and I overlay this map on top of it. And I say, hey, look at how many opportunities there exist if you go directly to the owners. And it's mind-boggling. Okay. So what Marc has on here is every multifamily property available is right there for him. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. There's so we've got at this point there's over 2 million properties nationwide, every size of property from 2 flats up to like sprawling, 1,000-unit garden developments across the country.
Yeah, and it really is like the duplexes too, because sometimes, and you can change that. You can change the search filter. But so one time I was looking in one little town in Oklahoma, and there was all these gray dots, but many of them were just 2 families. So it's you got to know your market. Got to know your market. Like, look at this. Yeah.
So what we've got here, there's a lot going on. So let me kind of start at the left here.
Yeah.
So you're in the rent search tool. You can see the address of the property you just searched. You've got the map view, which is this view you see here. And what we're doing is we're showing the number of properties total in your screen view right now. We're showing the average number of units, average floors, average AVM. We produce sort of like Zestimate that Zillow does, but we do this for multifamily. So we give you a gauge of the property values as well. And then we show you the average rents for each different unit type in the area. So if you're just doing a broad rent survey for a market, you can actually come in here and say, well, okay, I think the market for this area that I'm looking at is in this general area. And what it will do is it'll actually filter that down to just the area you're looking at and give you all the rents within that market area. I mean, rent survey, if you're doing it at that level of granularity, you're already done. You just did it. You've got all your average rents, your average square footages for each different unit type, even average property values for everything in this market. But you can take it a step further by actually digging in for any particular property. You could look at, for that asset, beds, the number of each different type of unit, average square footage for that property, average rent for those unit types. You've got the historical trends where it will actually show you over time. This is the studio and one bed units. You can see how that's performed, and you can see seasonal impacts sometimes. Well, makes sense. December, it kind of trends down in December, and then it jumps up in January, and then kind of levels off. I mean, that probably comports with you guys' experience when you're analyzing these deals. And there's a nice little synopsis of what the different unit and community level features are as well. So just at a glance, you've got a quick synopsis of the deal that's pretty nice. But there's a few other things here that I want to show that I think would be interesting to you guys. If you're uncertain of the market area, if you think that, well, you know, this street, it may be on this side, maybe I go a couple blocks over, but I'm not entirely sure what constitutes this market. If you're going into a new market, we actually have a suggest market feature that will take the inputs of everyone who has operated in this market and all the demographic and economic data and property data that we have, and we'll actually derive a market area for you. And you can see here, it actually suggested this green boundary. And so if I was doing this analysis, I might say, well, you know, I think actually you could justify moving that market boundary a little bit, and maybe, you know, this street, North Clark, is actually the market boundary. And so you're going to have a more informed approach to defining the market boundary, and then you're going to have more accurate figures when you actually do the analysis.
Wow.
Now, that we added this recently. I don't even know, Charlie, if you've seen this one before.
No.
Pretty new. The other part, and this is where it really gets to be a big time saver, is the suggest comps feature. I love this because this is the algorithm that we've had in the platform for a while, the platform that you guys demoed before with the group. This is actually showing you every recommended comp in the market. It's year built, its number of units, its automated valuation model, and its percent similarity when compared to the subject. So you can see this kind of declines as you go down, and you could sort these by similarity and do all sorts of things. Look at individual ones if you want to, you know, go into more detail.
And you know what's really cool about this feature is, you know, many times what we look at from the broker's offering package is the broker chooses the sales comps. Well, obviously he's not in your camp, so he's going to be choosing the sales comps that make his property look best. It doesn't mean it's going to be like the true and actual sales comps. But here, you know, Enodo has no dog in the fight, so they're just showing you the actual numbers, and it really tells you, like, this is the best comp we can use because it matches it to 77% like your property, and then it's phenomenal. Absolutely, the data is so good in this.
So you've got you know, you've got a way to find comps using AI. So, I mean, these will be, I think you'll try this out a little bit because you guys will see, you know, it's going to work very similar to the way a human being would select comps. It looks at year built, it looks at physical proximity, looks at number of units, and then the rents they're achieving. I mean, same stuff that you guys would look at, but it just does it very fast. And so when you're trying to look at many different data points, it helps to have a machine to kind of help you with that. Let me do.
Yeah, but keep in mind too that sometimes, like I said, it's you think it just does the same type of thing faster. I mean, the broker's objective is to find the sales comps and make his property, you know, his numbers justifiable. So it's not necessarily choosing the right properties for you. This does that for you. It should, and it lets you decide.
Right. And so, I mean, this will work. This is why I love this. This will work even in like a suburban market where things are really spaced out. So see, it's going out to, and you guys maybe you don't operate in a lot of suburban markets.
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely. No, we're looking in, a lot of stuff is secondary and tertiary markets. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if I go in here, I'll be able to compare. If I select the different comps here, it will, let me see here. I think I got to do it from the map view. So I go select and I say, yeah, these are comparable. I'm interested in comparing these. I'll be able to come in here and actually compare side by side and see those different variables. And some of them we may not have a ton of market rent data if they're sparsely populated, but we'll show you what we are able to get for the unit types that we have been able to pull data from. So this is something that's still a little bit in development here. And you can see, we showed you in the platform before how we've got these kind of comparisons of the market rent. I just randomly selected a few comps here, but you can take a look at them and see. We're still looking for feedback on this because it's still pretty new. So definitely come in here, try it for free. Let us know what you think, and always use in any event. You can always use this panel. Well, there's typically a panel here, but since I'm logged into to my account, it doesn't show up. But there's a panel at the lower right that you can use to provide feedback and ask any questions.
That's cool. Very cool. So, all right, give me some more. Give me a little bit more. We've got about 10 more minutes, Marc.
Yep. I'll do one last thing here to just show you the full paid platform and some of the stuff that's available here. Okay. So when you actually have paid for Enodo, a lot of the information that you saw in the free tools will be here, but there's some more. So we have that estimated market value for the property. We've got. Now,
is this that Sierra? Oh, this is Sheridan Road. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that I had done in the survey tool, or one that was close by. So 5200 Sheridan. This is good candidate for value add. You can look in here and see the amenities, and this is one of the claims to fame of Enodo. So say I wanted to do a rooftop space in my asset, I want to see what that's going to do to my rents. I can actually see statistically, I'm going to get a $12 per month premium to my Enodo rents that you see over here. And if I add this, you can actually see those rents increase by that amount. So this is your renovated property. You're actually doing the renovation virtually and then seeing how it would perform if you were to do those improvements. You could do it at the building level, and you could do it at the unit level too. So say, you want to do washers and dryers in the unit. 30% of the market offers that. 1777 is the premium, statistically plus or minus 264. So I add that, I'm going to get a rent premium. You're doing your value add, and you're doing it instantly, and backed by all the data that you guys already saw is in this market. That's how we're calculating it. You can do that at the unit level if you want to test if you're doing a new development, which I don't know how much you guys do new development, but we do have some developers on the platform. They can test different square footage configurations for their units and see what that would do to the rent. So you can see the rent actually shot up when I made them larger. Makes sense. You've got the comps, very similar algorithm to what you saw before. Here it's just they kind of show them below, and you can kind of see them and add them above. Do a quick little analysis. Same as the free tool, but this one's a little bit better formatting. And you can see next to each other. Do it by 1 beds, by 2 beds. Well, this one doesn't have 2 beds, but you can do it by 3 beds here. Kind of see how you're performing relative to the market. And then, of course, probably the most useful thing, the Opex benchmarks. This is taking data from similar properties to what you're looking at and actually predicting where you should be in terms of vacancy, concessions, collections. Every individual line item will give you a market benchmark for that particular line item. And you could see, whoa, this building, I've looked at the T12, this is way different from what the market is doing in terms of admin expenses. What are they doing? Oh, they're charging like their car to the building or something. People do all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it just looking at it from the. I mean, if you look down at the the ad expense, this thing has got the property on the left showing a 39.61% loss ratio. I mean, expense ratio, and then the subject property is showing a 31%. Well, if the market's at 39, and this guy's at 31. How is he operating his property so much more efficiently than the market? I mean, what the heck is going on? This is where the sellers start to play games with the numbers.
Right. Oh yeah. And so, you know, that's why we do this, is to make it a streamlined underwriting process. And then of course you can search for opportunities filtered by year built, number of units, and all that. So, I mean, a lot of you guys have seen this before. This is kind of the old platform, still exists. So you can use this in conjunction with the free tools. And,
well, what's kind of cool, let me just talk about what you just did, is as we look at this particular map of all the particular properties, if you've identified a particular market that you want to be buying property in, and you said, I want to find all the properties in that area that built after 1980 that have at least 20 units, 20 to 40 units, you put that information in there, and boom, you have your closed universe of opportunities. And there they are, right there. 20 to 40, let's see what we come up with. All right, well, there we have it. We got, you know, in this particular case, we have 6 properties, and you can drill right down on them. You see exactly where their addresses are, see what their rents are. You just pick up the phone and call the owner.
Right. I mean, that's what we're trying to help you do as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
And, you know, you get trends. Sometimes units aren't on the market, as you guys know, so we'll track it when it is on the market, and then when it comes off, you'll see it stop here. But it's good that...
Hey, Marc, let me give you a little tip. All properties are on the market.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yes. Yes. So, and it just shows you right there the historical trend. So we just went to look and found a 27-unit property in that area that we like. And right here, Enodo is showing us what the historical trends have been since October 2017 on the rents. And you can see exactly what's going on in the market with the rents, and like the spikes, the declines. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Like, look at this one right here. What do you got? What was that one showing? Yeah, from July 18th. Now look at that decline. Look at that decline.
Right.
It got as high as $1,825, and now it's down to $1,500 over, you know, that period of time. July, yeah. So you got to ask yourself the question: which direction are these rents heading in? And folks, you don't see this type of historical trend information from something the broker is going to give you. You don't put this type of historical trend information in to the cash flow analyzer. This is what's telling you, should I invest here? Or am I, you know, what is going on with these rents, and why are they declining so much? You know, and maybe you have to get in there during the due diligence and ask those tough questions and figure it out for yourself. But you're not going to know it unless you have this type of vehicle to get you there. So great stuff, Marc. Bravo. We usually stand up and give people applause when we see this. So absolutely fantastic. All right. Now, the thing is, let's talk to, you know, because I want to give you a plug, obviously. And let me just tell you, I'm going to tell you, Marc's going to tell you how to get in touch with him, how to reach out to him. He's got a phenomenal platform. People who are in my program, Marc has been incredibly generous. You know, my students get a discount from him. It's fantastic. But you know, Marc also obviously sells to everybody. And so why don't you tell people how your program works?
Yeah, so come to our website, www.enodoinc.com. You can actually sign up, and so when you sign up, you can either start the free trial, or you can go to our pricing page here and grab it directly with the discount that we'll provide to you guys. I think the discount we used last time discounted just because, you know, we work with you guys. You give us great feedback, great exposure to a section of the market that's really important to us. So, all right,
let me just tell you, just for the record here, the people who are listening, Marc, when this podcast comes out, they will not hear that discount code. So if you're in the owner forum, you will get that discount code. But if you're just want to sign up with Marc, there's his pricing schedule. So I don't want everybody taking advantage of your generosity who are not also, taking advantage of my program too. So, yeah, so that is very cool. Very cool. And let me tell you something, folks, if you're in this business and you're making offers on property and you're serious about raising private money and you're serious about closing deals, you need this program. You absolutely do. It is a game changer. No one's going to bamboozle you with pricing. You will have so much information. You just tell the broker, I'm sorry, your price is way off because we need to get to this. We need to get to this particular number, and your rents in this market have not supported that. You will have all the data at your fingertips that the brokers don't have, or the brokers do have, and they don't want you to know about it. So that's the key. So, all right, what is it? It's ENODOINC.com, Enodo Inc. The name of the program is Enodo. I love it. It gets a blue ribbon chip mark from me. It's absolutely phenomenal. I remember when I first saw it, I thought, no way, this can't be real. And no, it's real. Look, he's a real guy. There he is right there. So hey, Marc, great to see you again. Thank you so much for being a good friend of the Owner Forum, and thank you for being on the best multifamily podcast ever.